I'm going to have a crack at a fabric tumbler. So I've chosen 2 bits of fabric. Just need to, so I've got my 30 ounce straight, and it is straight, so there's no taper in this one. I just need to make sure I've cut my fabric a little bit bigger than what I need, and I'm going to Mod Podge it on there. So give me a second to get set up, and I'll start on that one as well. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I'm just going to do the first layer of fabric. I'm not going to do all of it because it'll have to dry, I guess. Just make sure I've got that the right way around so that it'll go on there. Yep. Okay. Again, I'm going to stand up for it because I think I'm better off looking down at it. And I've never done one of these before either. So it's definitely well and truly outside my comfort zone. So I'm going to put some Mod Podge on here. And I'm going to work it in sections. And I've probably put way too much Mod Podge, but you know what? I'm not actually worried because I really want it to stick down. Make sure that's pretty straight. And just really secure that down. Just want to make sure that's stuck. So I'm just going to keep working my way around this cup bit by bit to get it all on there. Trying to get it all straight and really smoosh it down so that it's stuck on there. Nearly done. Just got to make sure that I'm getting it right the way to the top. You can see the Mod Podge squishing out, which doesn't really matter because I'm going to seal it anyway. Okay. Oh, splashing it everywhere. Last little bit. Oh. Okay. So that's on there now. And I can feel the seam, so I think I might cut the top off it first though, but I'm not going to use the trimmer thing, only because I'm a little bit unsure about what I'm doing. So I'm going to use my scissors. Okay, so I've got my fabric scissors, and I'm just been watching a lady on YouTube, so I'm hoping I'm doing it right, because honestly I really don't know what I'm doing. I want it to go right to the top, and that's why I'm using scissors. Oh yeah, it kind of worked. Oh, there we go. Look. All right. Pray for me because I'm about to use my knife to cut the fabric. I can feel it there. Oh dear, okay. Just don't know. Where is it? There. I'm not the world's straightest cutter, so wish me luck, because I really can't. Okay, so I'm going to use my scissors. I probably did it too much. It's lucky I've got more of this fabric to be honest. Done. It's not real straight, but I don't think you'll notice it actually. So what I'm going to do now is I want to work on this bit here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do lots and lots of little tiny snips across here. They're probably a little bit too long, but okay. So I wonder if that's going to work. Yes. All right. So now I'm going to put some Mod Podge along here, quite a bit actually, because I want it to hold that fabric down there. Probably put way too much, but you know what? I'd rather too much than not enough, to be honest. Okay. And just smooth it off around the bottom here so that you don't have any of those sharp bits. And that's that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I've sealed properly around the top. So I'm just going to go in here with my brush, and I'm just going to make sure that there's plenty of Mod Podge in there to seal it all in. Because the last thing you want is for water and stuff to get in here. And to be honest, it's actually why I haven't done one of these before. Because I'm scared that it won't be sealed properly. And water will get into it. So now I'm just going to push that really, really hard against there to make sure that it's all sealed. And what I'll do is when I sand it, I will hold my sanding pad at an angle and just expose a little bit of silver there for the epoxy to stick to. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to seal it, and then I'm going to leave it to dry, and then I'll put the V split on there that I'm going to do, but that's not going to be today. But there's been a lot of struggles in this tumbler today, which is why I decided not to do it live, because people have got better things to do than really watch me struggle with something like this. So I'm just going to leave that now until it's completely dry, and then I'll do the V and then seal it more. But if you want me to do that process in a video, let me know. Good morning. How is everybody going? It's pretty early here. It's about 8:30. But this has dried nicely overnight. So now I'm just going to put the next piece of fabric, which is this piece, over the front. Now, I haven't done one of these, so I'm kind of just going to wing it a little bit. So I'm going to see. So that's meeting up at the back, but I want a little bit of room there, so when I put the tape on, it won't look too stupid, if you know what I mean. So I'm pretty much just going to stick that on like that. So there's not going to be any finesse about this. I'm pretty much just going to whack some, ew, yucky. It's just awful. Just going to put some Mod Podge right down the middle of my fabric. Because I really do want it to stick completely down. So then, it's the seam there, so I need to make sure that I get it into the centre where the seam is. To move it over just a bit. This is really just winging it, to be honest. I haven't got a piece of... Okay. Does that look straight? Because it looks pretty straight to me. Okay, so now I'm going to do exactly what I did yesterday. I'm just going to peel that back and literally get Mod Podge all up my brush, but I'm just going to put Mod Podge all over this fabric and stick it down. And at this point I really don't care if it smooshes out, because I'm a bit paranoid about it not sealing properly. How's that view? Do I need to turn this light off again? Oh, maybe, yeah. Okay, I'm actually just going to paint this. I'm watching true crime in the background. Anybody else do that while they're crafting? Still lining up nicely at the top. Messy. Okay. Pretty messy. But, you know, not sure that I'll be doing too many of these. I'm not too worried about the lines not being totally straight here, because it's going to have tape on it to hide that. So that's pretty much it. So now again I'm going to make doubly sure that I've covered that rim around the top. Now I'm going to do what I did yesterday, just pretty much get right in there and just really, shall I use my other hand? It's got a bit of glue still on it. And just really smoosh that down so that it's completely sealed. Okay, give me 1 sec to. Oh, it's not going to fit. Okay, so now I'm going to seal the whole thing. And I'll seal it, I reckon, 3 times. Just to be really sure. Now you'll notice, I don't know how well you can see it, but that's the seam at the back. When I cut it, I thought I'd actually cut it too much, but I hadn't. I hadn't cut it quite enough. So what I did was I just actually overlapped it, because I really don't think you'll notice it underneath everything else I'm pretty much going to throw at this cup. So, well, here's hoping anyway. I'll do the underneath separate. So I'm just going to let that dry, and then I'll do another coat. I'll do 3 coats altogether. And once I've done that, I'll come back with the first coat of epoxy. Good morning. It's taken me a little while to get back to doing this video, only because it's been a week of kind of one thing after another getting in the road of what I'd rather be doing. So also, not sure if you can see it, I had a bit of a mishap with my cup. So when I pulled the paper out from under the turner, it actually magically sucked itself up onto the cup. So I had a bit of a job to get it off, but I mean, it's dried like fairly smooth, you know, so it's not not anything that you'd be overly worried about. But so that's the first coat of epoxy on there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to focus on the rim and see if I can't get that so that it has a tiny little bit of silver exposed around the edge, so the resin's got something to attach onto. So because I'm sanding indoors, and actually really whenever you sand, I'm going to put my mask on. I'm hoping that you'll still be able to hear me through the mask. So give me just a second and I'll get right into that. Now I've got a 120 grit sanding pad, and I've also got a 220, and somewhere around here, which I'll find, here it is, a 320. So I'm going to go through it with all of those. These are just from Bunnings, and then after I do that I'll have a look at what it's like and I'll work on the stripes. So I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so I'm back now, got my mask on, and I'm just going to take this and, oh wait, let me turn it a bit, and sand that down. And I'm just going on an angle at the top like this first, and then on a slight angle like this. Yeah, so that's not too bad at all. You can see it's got a tiny rim around where the fabric was, so that will give the resin something to stick to that's not fabric and stop any, I don't know, water and stuff getting down in between the fabric and the cup, just in case it's not sealed properly. And also I did say that I tried to cut little slits around the base to push those over really hard. I did still end up with a few little bumps here. I'm not going to worry about them, to be honest. I'm going to chalk it up to experience and just move on with the next step on here. So I'm going to go wash this cup now, and then I'll take this mask off and I'll be back. Okay, so here I am back again. Now I've got this little section down here that I cut a circle. Let me just weed that out. Like that. And I'm going to stick it on the bottom. I think it matches fairly well. So I'm going to stand up to do this. You probably won't be able to see me do it because the cup's actually quite tall. But I will try to get it into the centre or close enough to that cup. And there's a few little air bubbles that I can work out. And that is that. Now it's a bit bumpy from the glue and Mod Podge and epoxy and pretty much everything. But like I said, it's a learning curve with this cup. And so far I'm quite happy with how it's turned out. Now the only other dilemma I've got is I don't know whether I should put white with teal or gold, a single gold stripe. I'm sort of inclined to go white with teal, so what I've done is I've cut my strips. Hopefully I've cut them long enough. Gosh. Oh yeah. So I've cut my strips. I'm not sure how long. So I'm just going to start at the top here and just follow that line down. I'll overlap it a little bit at the top and try and get it as straight as I can. That's the first one on. Now I'm going to cut that off probably about here for now. And then I'm going to get the next one, this one out of the road, and do the same on the other side. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my knife and see if you can see here where this bit overlaps right there. I'm actually going to cut it very, very carefully down along that line. Then I'm going to lift that bit of tape up and take it off, and then put this bit of tape back again so that it has a nice join, and I'm going to continue that cut through there like that, and I'll do the same at the other side and trim it off just under the rim. Okay, you want to trim it off level with your fabric. So that's the white on there. So now I'm going to do the same with the teal. I've got thinner strips for the teal. Just need to find them. Now it's going to be necessary to get them right into the middle. Okay, so that's on there now, as you can see. So what I like to do when I put vinyl on a cup is get my blow dryer out and just hit the vinyl a little bit, just for a few seconds, just to make that glue activate and stick down so it doesn't lift when I put the epoxy on. So I'll actually go do that now, and then I'll come back and mask up again and put the layer of epoxy on here. Okay, here we go, back again. So I'm using K-Resin Liquidy Split. It's, if you haven't got any of this, try and contact Lorraine to see if she's got any left. It's actually fantastic. In 3 hours, I'll be able to move on to the next step with this cup. So the downside is that it's only got a 15-minute work time, which is really, really quick. So I'm just going to put the resin on here now, and hopefully it won't lift the vinyl. That's one of the reasons I like using this, because it does set so quick. It hasn't really got time to lift any vinyl. It doesn't have, you know, that long to just spin. Just make sure you get it right to the top so that you're sealing in that fabric. Don't forget to do the bottom of the cup. I probably mixed up 20 ml, maybe a little bit more. It's a 1-to-1 resin, this one, so really easy to mix. And I've never made a 30 ounce cup, so I just didn't know how much it took. I probably could have done with a little bit less. Okay. Now I'm going to use my, oh here we go, my little trusty barbecue. I'm not going to put a decal on because I can't work out whether I should put it on the front or the back, so I'm just not going to have one. I think it looks nice enough without it. So thank you for watching, and I'll post a picture of the finished cup up in the Facebook group.